If Harry Potter was set in the United States, how would the story change? Harry would probably live in New Jersey, Ron would probably live in Kentucky or Tennessee, and Hermione would probably be from California. They would go to Ileverny. I spelled it wrong. It's the North American Wizarding School, which is in Massachusetts. There would be a train, but only for people in Boston, New York, Philly, DC corridor. Everyone else would use flying cars. Outside of that, it is a typical American boarding school. With only 0.4 Dementors per 1,000 inmates, due to budget constraints, escapes would be a constant. Sirius escaping would only make news if he'd killed a blonde, white, young woman, or it would come out as a black alert via SMS. Harry Potter and the Broadcast Emergency Response Program. Do you know why I pulled you over, mudblood? Of course, the system is inherently biased towards purebloods. Minorities have only been allowed to practice magic for 150 years, and intermarrying was only legalized 30 years ago. In extended canon, Harry Potter's family fortune was made from Skelgro and several cosmetic potions patented by his grandfather Fleamont Potter. He was apparently an extremely skilled potions master to the point of fame. Many potions are detrimental if gotten wrong and are expensive to make, so pre-bottled medical-grade potions are expensive. Skelgro is hundreds of galleons. Ayn Rand's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. You're a wizard, Harry, Hagrid said, and you're coming to Hogwarts. What's Hogwarts? Harry asked. It's wizard school. It's not a public school, is it? No. It's privately run. Good. Then I accept. Children are not the property of the state. Everyone who wishes to do so has the right to offer educational goods or services at a fair market rate. Let us leave at once. https://thetoast.net/2014/05/27/ Ayn Rand's Harry Potter Sorcerer's Stone / Harry and Ron stood before the mirror of Erist. My God, Ron said. Harry, it's your dead parents. Harry's eyes flicked momentarily over to the mirror. So it is. This information is neither useful nor productive. Let us leave at once. To assist Hagrid in his noble enterprise of raising as many dragon eggs as he sees fit, in spite of our country's unjust dragon trading restrictions. This is amazing. For people who like this, check out LPD, Libertarian Police Department, by Tom O'Donnell. I was shooting heroin and reading The Fountainhead in the front seat of my privately owned police cruiser when a call came in. I put a quarter in the radio to activate it. It was the chief. Bad news, detective. We got a situation. What? Is the mayor trying to ban trans fats again? Worse. Somebody just stole $447 million worth of bitcoins. The heroin needle practically fell out of my arm. What kind of monster would do something like that? Bitcoins are the ultimate currency. Virtual, anonymous, stateless. They represent true economic freedom, not subject to arbitrary manipulation by any government. Do we have any leads? Not yet, but mark my words, we're going to figure out who did this and we're going to take them down. Provided someone pays us a fair market rate to do so. Easy, Chief, I said. Any rate the market offers is, by definition, fair. He laughed. That's why you're the best I got, Lasovsky. Now you get out there and find those bitcoins. Don't worry, I said. I'm on it. I put a quarter in the siren. 10 minutes later, I was on the scene. It was a normal office building, strangled on all sides by public sidewalks. I hopped over them and went inside. Home Depot presents the police ! Registered, I said, flashing my badge and my gun and a small picture of Ron Paul. Nobody move unless you want to. They didn't. Now, which one of you punks is going to pay me to investigate this crime? No one spoke up. Come on, I said. Don't you all understand that the protection of private property is the foundation of all personal liberty? It didn't seem like they did. Seriously, guys, without a strong economic motivator, I'm just going to stand here and not solve this case. Cash is fine, but I prefer being paid in gold bullion or autographed pen Gillette posters. Nothing. These people were stonewalling me. It almost seemed like they didn't care that a fortune in computer money invented to buy drugs was missing. I figured I could wait them out. I lit several cigarettes indoors. A pregnant lady coughed, and I told her that second-hand smoke is a myth. Just then, a man in glasses made a break for it. "Subway meat fresh and freeze. Scumbag!" Registered, I yelled. Too late. He was already out the front door. I went after him. "Stop right there!" I yelled as I ran. He was faster than me because I always try to avoid stepping on public sidewalks. Our country needs a private sidewalk voucher system, but, thanks to the incestuous interplay between our corrupt federal government and the public sidewalk lobby, it will never happen. I was losing him. "Listen, I'll pay you to stop," I yelled. "What would you consider an appropriate price point for stopping?" "I'll offer you a 1/13 of an ounce of gold and a gently worn Bob Barrow 8 extra large long-sleeved men's t-shirt." He turned. In his hand was a revolver that the Constitution said he had every right to own. He fired at me and missed. I pulled my own gun, put a quarter in it, and fired back. The bullet lodged in a USPS mailbox less than a foot from his head. I shot the mailbox again, on purpose. All right," the man yelled, throwing down his weapon. "I give up, cop. I confess. I took the bitcoins." "Why'd you do it?" I asked, as I slapped a pair of Oikos Greek yogurt presents handcuffs registered on the guy. "Because I was afraid." "Afraid?" "Afraid of an economic future free from the pernicious meddling of central bankers," he said. "I'm a central banker. I wanted to cold cock the guy. Years ago, a central banker killed my partner. Instead, I shook my head. Let this be a message to all your central banker friends out on the street," I said. "No matter how many bitcoins you steal, you'll never take away the dream of an open society based on the principles of personal and economic freedom." He nodded, because he knew I was right. Then he swiped his credit card to pay me for arresting him. The thing I hate most about the entire Harry Potter universe is that 90% of the problems they solve with magic either aren't actual problems or could have been solved much easier with the technology they had at the time. Magic can bypass this locked door. So can a steel fucking pick, a car that flies, so a small aircraft. There's a curse that can kill anybody, but it moves really fucking slow. Another wizard can block it with his wand, and you have to really mean it else it won't work. Hey, guess what? An AR-15 can kill people from like 10 times farther away, near instantly. You ain't blocking shit, and it's so fucking easy you can do it on accident sometimes. Hermione Granger would become Harmony Danger, and she would be blonde and have no actual lines. She would just smile seductively and wink a lot. Ron Weasley would become Ron Weathers, and he and his family would be black, but only to take a box for marketing purposes. Ron's role would be simply to be Harry's sidekick. Harry Potter himself would actually be Harris Potter, and he absolutely would fucking not be wearing glasses. I can tell you that right fucking now. Okay, this has been driving me crazy for 7 movies now, and I know you're going to roll your eyes, but hear me out. Harry Potter should have carried a 1911. Here's why. Think about how quickly the entire Wizarding World War III would have ended if all of the good guys had simply armed up with good all-American hot lead basilisk. Let's see how tough it is when you shoot it with the .470 Nitro Express. Worried about its Medusa gaze? Wear night vision goggles. The image is light amplified and retransmitted to your eyes. You aren't looking at it, you are looking at a picture of it. Imagine how epic the first movie would be if Harry had put a breaching charge on the bathroom wall, flash-banged the hole, and then went in wearing NVGs and a Kevlar weave stab vest, carrying a SPAS 12. And have you noticed that only Europe seems to have problemed with Death Eaters? Maybe it's because Americans have spent the last 200 years shooting deer, playing GTA, Vice City, and keeping an eye out for black helicopters over their compounds. Meanwhile, Brits have been cutting their steaks with spoons. Remember, gun control means that Voldemort twins, God made wizards and God made muggles, but Samuel Colt made them equal. Now I know what you're going to say. What, a wizard could just disarm someone with a gun? Yeah, well, they can also disarm someone with a wand, as they do many times throughout the books/movies. But which is faster, saying a spell or pulling a trigger? Avada Kedavra, meet Avtomat Kalashnikova. Imagine Harry out in the woods, wearing his invisibility cloak, carrying a 50 BMG Barrett, turning detonators into pink mist, scratching a lightning bolt into his rifle stock for each kill. I don't think Madame Pomfrey has any spells that can scrap your brains off of the trees and put you back together after something like that. Voldemort's wand may be 13.5 inches with a phoenix feather core, but Harry's would be 0.50 inches with a tungsten core. Let's see Voldy wave his at 3,000 feet per second. Better hope you have some essence of Detony for that sucking chest wound. Imagine Harry out in the woods, wearing his invisibility cloak, carrying a 50 BMG Barrett, turning detonators into pink mist, scratching a lightning bolt into his rifle stock for each kill. I don't think Madame Pomfrey has any spells that can scrap your brains off of the trees and put you back together after something like that. Voldemort's wand may be 13.5 inches with a phoenix feather core, but Harry's would be 0.50 inches with a tungsten core. Let's see Voldy wave his at 3,000 feet per second. Better hope you have some essence of Detony for that sucking chest wound. Swoon. Ron wouldn't have been able to pay tuition and his family would have been broken by medical debt. House elves? Food appearing at the tables in the Great Hall? No. Line up and pay for it, you freeloading kids. Albus would have been in jail for tax evasion because he never paid the annual licensing fees for his stolen wand. Lucius getting caught as a Death Eater would have propelled him into being appointed as Treasury Secretary by Voldemort, who obviously would have won an election on the slogan "Make Magic Pure Again." There wouldn't have been tests to get into the Chamber of Secrets. Harry would have just deposited the required gold into the bank account listed on the door, and the Order of the Phoenix would have been listed as a terrorist organization spreading communist Taliban propaganda at liberal training camps otherwise known as colleges and universities. Harry would be a trust fund jock and subpar student who is liked by everyone and passes most of his classes based on who he is and his status as a star athlete. He would frequently flout the rules, and be rewarded for it because he's special. Anyone who doesn't like him would be portrayed as a complete douche. Eventually he'd graduate, marry his high school sweetheart, have a couple kids, and become a cop. Oh wait. It makes it easier to perform magic, especially for children, so they can quickly master basics. Over-reliance makes them unable to perform magic without it though. They are supposed to be able to perform non-verbal magic by graduation and simple spells without a wand. Dumbledore and Voldemort would perform non-verbal magic with a wand in their hand simultaneously with these, but that's a skill few ever get to. Tried counting up how many times the exact same handful of jokes got used. Lost track. I think the rankings are school shootings in first place, followed by student loans even though Hogwarts is a public high school, then shitty healthcare, and fat jokes after that. Special mentions go out to everyone would be entirely one-dimensional character archetypes I picked up from a conversation about the spoof of a parody of high school movies made 30 years ago in the surprisingly robust showing of LOL. I bet there's a bunch of teen pregnancies, because we all know those are exclusive to the United States. I know the US has serious problems guys, but really. My high school's mascot was a witch too, for the Salem Witches. All our sports teams were the Salem Witches. Our colors were white and black. All jerseys also had a witch on them. I have been out of high school for 11 years, but I still have my high school sweatpants. I moved away and actually in the Bible Belt now, gag, and I wear my high school sweatpants with a witch on them all the time to see people cringe. The ones calling themselves purebloods would be the same as in real life in the Civil War would have had purebloods in the South and everyone else in the North, fighting on battlefields while others obliviate the Muggle soldiers. Harry and his family would probably be black and Voldemort would have been the evil mind behind Greensboro, Oklahoma. Macusa would have been founded in Salem but moved to New York before World War I, with the rogue government in Chicago that allowed wizards to exploit humans while still maintaining secrecy. Wealthy wizards would have their own menageries around Middle America, importing them illegally from all over the world. There'd be a whole department dedicated to hiding Sasquatch species like giants in the UK. Would have spent his life in foster care, got dumped into Skid Row with a trash bag full of clothes and 2 candy bars, gotten arrested, raped in prison and put in solitary for what he did to his rapist. The only person who wasn't afraid to bring him food was the prisoner from the Green Mile. With John's assistance, Harry escapes just before John Coffey's execution and somehow finds his way to Hogwarts. The Hogwarts Express would be a plane and it would platform gate 9 and 3/4 would be in a big airport, like O'Hare or LAX or something. There's a few options for Harry is from A and the school is in B. Maybe Harry is from New Jersey or Boston and the school is upstate New York. Maybe he's from Maryland and the school is in West Virginia. Maybe he's from the suburbs of Chicago and the school is in South Dakota. Or he could be from Salt Lake City and the school could be in Wyoming. Maybe he's from Seattle and the school is in Alaska. Something like that. Harry is from an urban, suburban area, and the school is in a vaguely nearby but much more rural, rugged place. Or maybe that's what Area 51 is. Harry is from Salt Lake City or Phoenix or San Francisco or something, and the school is in Area 51. That would work. The founding of the school would be 300-500 years ago, not 1000. If it's closer to 500, it would have to be further east. But maybe the colonial wizards had some kind of contact with the natives and went west way before the Muggles did. No houses lol, we don't do that here. I'm not sure what they'd do instead. Harry would be from the projects, Petunia and Vernon would be white trash. Ron would be from the middle of the cornfield. Hermione grew up just outside Cambridge. M.A. and her parents are both tenured professors at the local school. This is how she words it. Hogwarts is in the middle of nowhere in Appalachia. Hagrid is a big, bald redneck that's smarter than he looks. Aragog is a raccoon. Umbridge is played by Betsy DeVos. McGonagall is still played by Dame Maggie Smith because absolutely no one else is allowed to be McGonagall. I don't care what you say. I didn't read or watch much Harry Potter but have seen some clips and videos here and there and read some stuff, so here it goes. Harold Potter takes place between the 1920s, 1930s in the Midwest. Harold is born to an English family that immigrated from England to America in order to escape from Heinrich van Delmort, Italian, German field commander who had fallen for Harold's mother but she rejected him. Heinrich decided that the only way to have her was to eliminate Harold's father, a soldier under Heinrich's command turned successful parlor man after completing his years in the English military. Heinrich over the years grew jealous of Harold's father, proving himself as a competent soldier and strategist many times in battle. Heinrich saw Harold's father as a threat to his position of power and the last straw was thrown after Harold's father married Heinrich's love interest. Having put out an execution warrant for Harold's father, the two fled England in 1925 and settled in the state of Nebraska by taking advantage of the Homestead Act. Harold's parents became farmers who had mild success over the years but not much of it slowly declining. Harold was born in the year 1927, just 2 years prior to the Great Depression. Heinrich, now angry and seething with rage, decided to set out to America. He chose America because he was tipped off by a loyal soldier who also disliked Harold's father. In search of the Potter family, having strong army connections with soldiers posted throughout the United States Army, some on active duty, some retired, Heinrich began his search in the northeast coasts of the United States. Meanwhile, both the Potters and Heinrich were unaware of the impending doom of the Great Depression. It is now 1932, the Great Depression has struck the entire nation of America hard. Times are hard, many families can barely get by, especially the Potters. With declining success leading into the Great Depression, the Potter family did not have much, all but a few loaves of bread and some water to get by. Heinrich also suffered a major blow to his stock investments. having been focused on exacting his vengeance after blaming the loss of his title, status, and money to the Potter family. Tired, hungry, and now melting pot of angry emotions, Heinrich found a spark of hope in finding the Potter family. An army buddy whom Heinrich served with in the Great War said he heard of a poor farmer family with names similar to Hatter. Could this be? Could it be that fate has seen the pitiful state Heinrich was in and decided to assist him?